Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here in Western Canada. In this class, everybody, we are looking at an IELTS speaking part 2, the cue card, and we are focusing on a topic talking about future inventions. Everybody, this is a members chat class. Members can join the chat. If you'd like to be a member, click the join button next to the subscribe button. We will have an all chat class coming up on our websites in about 2 hours at aehelp.com. For academic IELTS success, visit us there. For live classes, you can check us out there as well. For general IELTS, check us out at gieltshelp.com. These are the websites that power these live classes. Everybody, the next live class will be on this website here at aehelp.com. To join our premium version of our course, click this big red button that's just right above my head there. It is a one-time payment for lifetime access. We're an IDP affiliate. We're a British Council partner. We're an IELTS test registration center. I'm a British Council agent, and we have been helping IELTS students for over a decade. Click the red button and use the code MASTER9 for an additional 10% discount since you're watching this live class. The cost is different in different countries. We try to make it available for as many people as possible. For general IELTS, it's gieltshelp.com. It's the green background. Click this big red button here to join the premium version of our course. Students, our apps are Academic IELTS Help and General IELTS Help. You can get those apps from your app stores and link them to their respective websites, Academic IELTS Help to aehelp.com and General IELTS Help to gieltshelp.com. You can also get our courses through Shopify. I'll put the actual URL into the chat this time. If you buy through Shopify, make sure to send us an email so you can so we can activate your courses. Simply click the store or the shopping button on the YouTube channel and then get the course that you need. Students, Instagram is IELTS_AEHelp and GIELTSHelp. All this social media. Great. Again, my email, if you have questions, is adrian@aehelp.com and admin@aehelp.com. Now, the schedule, December 16th to the 23rd. Right now, again, we have speaking part 2. It's a members chat class. Then we will have speaking part 3 for everybody on the websites. No classes from Sunday to Wednesday. Back on Thursday with speaking part 1 for everybody here on YouTube. Once again, check out this video that we have released. It's got over 160,000 views in less than a week. It's a speaking video that's got tips for you, looking at the speaking section from the perspective of a child. Language learning from the standpoint of youth is definitely an effective concept to keep in mind. All right, everybody, let's just get into it. So I want to do lots of speaking with our viewers today. We will use our websites to practice. This is speaking, so make sure to speak and repeat. Copy what I say, copy how I say it. Be brave, be loud. Students, here is the part 2 cue card. Let's take a look. So the IELTS speaking has 3 parts. If you've passed part 1, I should say when you've passed part 1, then the examiner will say that is the end of part 1. We will now continue with part 2. For this part, I will show you a card with some questions. You will have 1 minute to read these, think about your answers, and then you will have 1 to 2 minutes to speak. I will tell you when to start and when to stop. Talk about an idea or an innovation for the future that is not possible today and can greatly help humanity. Your 1 minute preparation begins now. Okay, and then read the question. So even though the examiner will give you the topic, this part here, you should read that again on the card just to make sure you are 100% clear. Don't rush reading the card, okay? So talk about an idea or an innovation for the future that is not possible today and can greatly help humanity. You should say, what is the idea? Where did you learn about it? Why is this idea beneficial for the future? And why is this idea not possible yet? And what is needed to make it a reality? All right, so you have to answer these questions. Yes, the card is there to guide you, but it's not just a guide. The examiner is listening for this information. When you provide all of the answers to all of the questions on the cue card, you will get a better mark, okay? So even though on some websites, including, I think, British Council, it says the questions are a guide. Yeah, not quite. The examiners are listening for those answers, okay? All right, so let's jump in. Hi, Anna. Hi, Fuang. Hi, Juan. Nice to see members in the class. Let's get going. So we've got this cue card here. Obviously, this is going to be talking about an idea or an object, right? So either an idea for the future or an object for the future, right? And it will be using the future tense. Okay. Will have, future perfect. Okay. Great. So we've read the question carefully. We've identified that it's an idea or an object. If we're talking about an idea, we have to talk about when we had the idea, so the time. And we have to talk about the reason, the requirements, okay, and the results, at least. Okay, and maybe some improvements, which might be tricky because these ideas have not yet come to existence. If you're talking about an object, like Anna's suggesting, Anna's saying robots to play the piano or the violin. Anna, that's an interesting idea. I have seen violins that do play, or sorry, I have seen pianos that play themselves, but I get what you're saying, like an actual human-like robot. While I write this, everybody knows what a human-like robot is called in English? A robot that's like a human. What is that called? Okay. An object, you want to talk about its appearance, what it looks like. Okay. You want to talk about the origin, where it comes from. You want to talk about its function, how it would work, its use, how people would use it, and the experience of people using it. So if we're talking about a robot that plays the violin, what would it look like? Where would it come from? How would it work? How would people use it? And what would be our experience with it? Okay. Maya says, is it a humanoid? A humanoid is any creature or machine that kind of looks like a robot, so it's not bad, Maya. There's a better word that we use more commonly. Prasanta says teleportation for a future idea. I love it. Okay, I love how all of you are getting some great ideas. Obviously, people think about this. So humans, we're curious creatures, and we think about what could be, what if, right? So that is one of the most important steps in the IELTS speaking part 2. Think about two to three good ideas for part 2. One of the mistakes people make in part 2 is they kind of just think of one answer and then they go with it. It's the one answer. I'm going to go with it. Can be a bad idea, because what if it's hard to talk about it? You don't have the vocabulary. You realize there's not much to say, right? So think about 2 to 3 good ideas and choose one. The best one. Easy to talk about, original, lots of content. Okay, so we're getting some ideas here. Let's see if anybody figured out what you call a robot that's like a human. Let me give you a hint. Google has this icon for their mobile operating system. In fact, they call their mobile operating system by this name. That is what you call a robot that's kind of like a human. It's got arms, legs, a head. Okay, so human like a robot is called Constellation. Welcome to the class. Nice to have you back today. Good, you listened to my advice. Stay on top of English. Prasanta says, is it called Alexa? Alexa is the assistant for Amazon's product. Epsilonator, that's right, it's called an android. Okay, a human-like robot is called an android. And then, so yeah, maybe we'll have an android helper in the future. Quite possible. Okay. So an android. Yeah, it's interesting when a company makes a word so popular that people don't realize the original meaning of that word. An android is a human-like robot. That's where Google got that name from. It's actually a word. It's not just made up by Google. It's called an android. Okay. Who was it? I think it was Prasanta that said, how about teleportation? I like that idea. Teleportation. Okay. Yeah, we've definitely fantasized about having that technology, although we're nowhere near that yet. But teleportation, yeah, that could be a good idea. Okay, what else? What other kinds of inventions? How about when you mix a human with machine? So half human, half machine. What do you call that? And definitely with the advancement in medicine and all of the interesting surgeries and technology, a lot of people are getting, artificial hearts, artificial limbs. We're getting computers implanted to help us deal with certain types of illness. For sure. So this isn't necessarily as science fiction as people think. Prasanta says those are called cyborgs in English. That's right, it's a cyborg. All right. Any other ideas for the future other than android helpers, cyborg improvements, right? Teleportation. Juan Pablo says ubiquitous internet, even on the desert. So basically having internet everywhere in the world, regardless of where you are. Sure. Yep. Anybody see the satellite train in the sky that Elon Musk is working on? Okay, visualize when you're in part 2. Think about the technology here and see it that has come out. I've seen this satellite train. It's quite impressive. Satellite train by SpaceX. Right, and it's growing, it's getting bigger. I saw it 2 years ago, it was smaller. I saw it last year, and now it's like twice as big. Okay, Prasanta, very good. Mobile hospitals, mobile, how about let's take it one level higher, Prasanta, mobile surgery, right? Or remote surgery, where it's not just robot surgery, but the surgery actually can move to your house or move to your apartment, and you can get help right there without having to go to the hospital. So mobile hospital or remote surgery. Sure. Yeah. Let's dare to dream, right? Okay. How about this one? This one's kind of in the works, I know, by a lot of companies, and maybe not in the distant future. Flying drone human transport, or drone taxi. Well, we have helicopters, but it's not the same idea, right? So there's lots and lots of great ideas. Now, I'm just going to pick one and go with it to give everybody an example of how I would respond to this part 2 cue card. And I'm going to go big on this one. I'm going to go teleportation. Okay, teleportation is instantaneous, instant movement from one location to another. Okay, Kevin, welcome back to our group of members. Nice to see you in the class. I hope all is going well for you. Join in on the fun. Okay, everybody. So I'm going to go with teleportation. Now, teleportation here is more of an idea than an object. Of course, it might require an object. So I'm going to identify that this is an idea. So when it's an idea, as I had mentioned, we need to include the origin, right? So I'm going to take some notes. Okay, in that 1 minute preparation time, I can take notes, and my notes need to be useful notes. So I'm going to start my notes with the origin of where this idea comes from. Some of you might be like, Adrian's so old. All right, the idea for me comes from Star Trek Next Generation. That was when I was a kid, that was my science fiction growing up, and I can certainly talk a lot about it. Okay, so that's the origin. The requirements. The requirements for teleportation is a molecular disseminating machine. Okay, now you're definitely going to learn some vocabulary here. Again, if you don't have the vocabulary, think about choosing a different idea, maybe something simpler, okay? You don't want to get stuck speaking, trying to explain what to say. And also, think about simpler ways to say it if you're not sure, right? Disseminate means to take apart. Okay, so molecular disseminating machine. All right, and I'll explain what that is after. All right, now the reason. Okay, so why would we want to have a teleportation device? Well, obviously it saves time, right? The environment, okay, would be another one. Exploration, potentially. Okay, so those would be the reasons for it. All right, Prasanta says, I got it from Doraemon, the Japanese anime. Yes, that would be, well, another place to get it from. That's maybe even more old school, Prasanta, than Star Trek Next Generation. I think Doraemon it's an old cartoon. Okay, so that would be the reasons for it. Okay, and then the experience. I'm just going to put more social and more family. Okay, so now I've got one more step left, and this is an important step. Okay, is to think of my first sentence. Before the examiner starts the speaking time. For this, as many of you know, I need to use the topic statement of the cue card. So here, the speaking part 2 cue card, again, is talk about an idea or an innovation for the future that is not possible today and can greatly help humanity. Okay, so it's not just anything. It's not just a super fidget. I don't know if a super fidget could help humanity. Okay, so I believe and use the full statement. So I believe an awesome technological advancement that will be. Why don't I say would be? What's the difference if I say will be versus would be? Think about that as I explain this. That will be very beneficial for all people is the invention of a teleportation device. Okay. So I believe an awesome technological advancement that will be very beneficial for all people is the invention of a teleportation device. I could also say I believe an awesome technological advancement that would be very beneficial for all people is the invention of a teleportation device. Juan, very good. Juan says, because this idea is likely to be true. Yes. When you say will be, you think it's going to be true. If you say would be, you think maybe it might not happen. Think it to be true versus would be. Think it is only hypothetical, Maya. That's right. Hypothesis, hypothetical, right? So if you believe your idea is going to happen, it's going to be true, then use will be. If you don't think it's going to happen anytime soon, use would be. I'm pretty ambitious, so I'm going to say will be. I believe an awesome technological advancement that will be very beneficial for all people is the invention of a teleportation device. I was first introduced to this concept about 3 decades ago when I got into sci-fi or science fiction, let's say the full term, science fiction TV series called Star Trek Next Generation. In this show, the characters. Does anybody know this show, Star Trek? There are lots of different versions of it. It's very, very famous. I'm sure they showed it in many different languages as well. Help me out here. So I don't want to just give you the answer. I want us to do this together. Let me increase the size a little bit. So here I'm introducing where I got this idea from, and then I'm actually going to say one more sentence about the technology in this science fiction show and how they use it, right? Just to give the examiner an idea of what I'm really talking about, okay? So how do they use it? What is the most common use of their teleportation device in this show? And there is a logical reason here. So I'm going to explain how humans would use it, what kind of technology we would need for this kind of transportation device based on this show. By the way, students, fun fact for everybody. Some of our viewers who might be thinking, Adrian's out to lunch. What are we talking about now? This science fiction show. There's a very famous device that was actually inspired by this show. So while you're telling me what they do in this show with their teleportation device, here's a fun fact trivia quiz for you. Star Trek inspired the innovation of this very common technology that is used by billions of people today. If you're ever on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, this question could come up. What is this device? Let's see. It was not a 3D printer, Juan. It's used by billions. I don't think 3D printers are used by billions. Maya says, definitely the phone. Yes, indeed. It is the flip phone. The Nokia, the first... What is it? I don't even know how it's spelled anymore. Nokia, there. The first Nokia flip phone was inspired by the communicator device in the original Star Trek series. Did you know that? Okay. There was a young kid in... maybe the US or in Norway or Sweden or somewhere that was watching this show, and he said, hey, that's really cool. I can build that. That young kid grew up and he made it. He created that device. So there you go. There's a little fun fact for you. Star Trek inspired the first Nokia flip phone. All right. So, now some of you are like, oh, I gotta watch this show. Yeah, I think Netflix now has all the episodes. Okay, so here we go. So the examiner says, your 1 minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking. And I say, I believe an awesome technological advancement that will be very beneficial for all people is the invention of a teleportation device. I was first introduced to this concept about 3 decades ago when I got into a science fiction TV series called Star Trek Next Generation. In this show, the characters use this technology to instantaneously, that means immediately, transport themselves from their spaceship to the surface of planets that they are exploring. Okay? They beam themselves from the teleportation room to any location of their choosing. Okay? Hence the famous phrase, beam me up, Scotty, if anybody ever heard that. Beam me up, Scotty. Okay. So now, what should I do? Okay, I want to, I don't want to just give you this information. I want to engage your thinking, your critical thinking, your English thinking, your vocabulary. So, Prasanta says, oh stars, beam me up, Scotty. Yes, most people in many English-speaking countries and non-English-speaking countries who are sci-fi fans will know exactly what you're talking about when you say, beam me up, Scotty. All right, so what should I do here? What should I say after this? Okay, so if I'm talking about this teleportation device, and now I've explained what I think this technology is and where I saw it, what should I do? Fulong's getting a good laugh. I bet you a lot of people are Googling that right now. What is this beam me up, Scotty? And you're going to have a good laugh about it. Okay. Constellation says, talk about the requirement. Yeah, kind of. Fuang says, look back at the cue card. We could do that, Fuang. Sure, why not? Let's do that. Okay. So it says, what is the idea? Where did you learn about it? Why is this idea beneficial for the future? Why is this idea not possible yet? And what is needed to make it a reality? Okay, so you're on the right track, Fuang. You should always look back on the cue card when you're not sure. We've talked a little bit about what is this idea. Okay. Where did you learn about it? Definitely. Why is this idea beneficial for the future? Not really. Why is this idea not possible yet? And what is needed to make it a reality? Okay. So logically, right? Think about your audience. And you're kind of like Steve Jobs here, introducing a new piece of technology like the iPod or the iPhone, or I think in 2024 we have the Apple virtual reality goggles coming out. So here, I believe an awesome technological advancement that will be very beneficial for all people is the invention of a teleportation device. I was first introduced to this concept about 3 decades ago when I got into a science fiction TV series called Star Trek: The Next Generation. In this show, the characters use this technology to instantaneously transport themselves from their spaceship to the surface of planets that they are exploring. They beam themselves from the teleportation room to any location of their choosing. Okay. Domenico has a large spaceship brewing in the back of his head. That's good. You can visualize the spaceship Enterprise. Okay, I would explain how it works. Okay. Okay. So in theory, right? This is a nice expression here. In theory, this technology, we can shorten it. Let's show the examiner that we can speak with pop culture now that we've used the word technology. So in theory, this tech would need a machine that can disseminate objects into molecules and shoot them at the speed of light to a specific location where the molecules could be reassembled into their original form. Okay? In the show, this is achieved with a small communication device in the shape of a pin attached to the chest of the characters. Okay. So, how does this work, right? So in theory, this tech would need a machine. Now here, hypothetical, right? Because I'm not sure how this will be achieved, but would need a machine that can disseminate. Disseminate means to take apart into the small pieces. Disseminate objects into molecules and shoot them at the speed of light to a specific location. Now, there's another way to say this. Shoot them at the speed of light. What's another way to say that, students? Shoot them at... How can I say speed of light in another way? In a more simple, well, we can almost say a better... I don't know if it's better, but it's maybe better. So you can say at... Anna says very quickly. Yes, or you could also say at light speed. It's one word. Okay, so there you go. Not lightning fast, just simply light speed. Okay, so disseminate objects and molecules and shoot them at light speed to a specific location where the molecules could be reassembled into their original form. In the show, this is achieved with a small communication device in the shape of a pin attached to the chest of the characters. Okay, but in reality, this could greatly benefit humanity in many ways. Firstly, it would eliminate the problems of traveling long distances and taking time to do so. Family members could visit each other around the globe without effort. This would lead to major technological and social development. Okay. Kevin Bowie, yeah, lightning fast is not bad. Domenico says at lightning speed. Yeah, literally here it's light speed. Light speed is the word, everybody. Light speed, the speed of light. Okay, and this would lead to major technological and social development. It would enable humans to completely reduce the carbon footprint of traveling. We would no longer need to burn fossil fuels, and it could also lead to extensive space exploration, which may ultimately enable people or allow people to inhabit other planets. Okay, so this is what I have so far. Let's take a look at the cue card now to see if I've answered all the questions. So what is this idea? I think it's good now. Where did you learn about it? Yes. Why is this idea beneficial for the future? I just answered that. Why is this idea not possible yet? And what is needed to make it a reality? Okay, I don't think I've really answered that question clearly, so I'm going to do that as my last step and wrap this up. So, unfortunately, teleportation is not yet possible because we do not have the level of control when breaking molecules to be able to reassemble them back into their original forms. Also, we may need to discover ways to bend space and time, and this is simply too advanced for our current knowledge in physics and science. Nevertheless, I am hopeful that this technology is on the horizon, meaning in the future, in the near future. Okay, so there you have it, everybody. That's teleportation as inspired by science fiction shows. Here we go, everyone. So I'm going to go through this, copy this, repeat after me, and then I'll give a chance to our members, our viewers, to give some exciting and interesting answers to this cue card using the website. So again, this part 2 cue card is talk about an idea or an innovation for the future that is not possible today and can greatly help humanity. And again, students, believe it or not, you could get a question like this in your speaking part 2. What is the idea? Where did you learn about it? Why is this idea beneficial for the future? Why is this idea not possible yet? And what is needed to make it a reality. All right, here we go. Your 1 minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking. Again, everybody just copy and repeat. So I believe an awesome technological advancement that will be very beneficial for all people is the invention of a teleportation device. I was first introduced to this concept about 3 decades ago when I got into a science fiction TV series called Star Trek: The Next Generation. In this show, the characters use this technology to instantaneously transport themselves from their spaceship to the surface of planets that they're exploring. They beam themselves from the teleportation room to any location of their choosing. In theory, this tech would need a machine that can disseminate objects into molecules and shoot them at light speed to specific locations where the molecules are reassembled into their original form. In the show, this is achieved with a small communication device in the shape of a pin attached to the chest of characters. But in reality, this could greatly benefit humanity in many ways. Firstly, it would eliminate the problems of traveling long distances and taking a lot of time to do that. Family members could visit each other around the world without effort. This would lead to major technological and social development. It would enable humans to completely eliminate the carbon footprint of traveling. We would no longer need to burn fossil fuels. It would also lead to extensive space exploration, which could allow people to inhabit other planets. Unfortunately, teleportation is not yet possible because we do not have the level of control when breaking molecules to put them back together again in their original form. Also, we may need to figure out ways to bend space and time, so it's simply a bit too advanced for current knowledge in physics and science. Nevertheless, I'm hopeful that this technology is on the horizon. That is your Band 9 response. Say it like that for this part 2. I guarantee you'll be getting a nice 9 on that marking paper. Okay, obviously some vocabulary needed there, and some of you might be thinking, I haven't heard half of these words before. Students, have fun with English. Read some fantasy and science fiction novels when you have time, okay? Anybody read sci-fi or fantasy? Okay, and it's a great way to pick up vocabulary that you might not hear in other contexts in daily life. Okay, Prasanta says, I like to watch it. Good. All right, everybody. So any questions about this response? So any questions about the grammar? Any questions about the vocabulary? About the ideas, about the structure, members? So I don't want to rush, and I know that I'm introducing a lot of content here as well for you with this concept of teleportation. So any questions about this one? Now's your chance. Okay, any questions? I don't want to lose you. I see that some of you are socializing a little bit with each other, which is great. I just want to make sure that you're also paying attention to the content. Fong says nope. Maya says, can we talk already? Excited? Okay, Maya, I'm wondering if you're thinking about the interactions here. Absolutely, that's what we're going to do next. Okay. All right. Okay, so no questions are coming, which is good. It helps me to think, or makes me think that you understand most of what's going on here. All right, then let's do this. Let's talk about future inventions, future innovations. Students, to volunteer for speaking, this is what you need to do. Go to aehelp.com. I just put the link into the chat for those of you who might be new, and then go to your My Student account, log in. So everybody, aehelp.com looks like this. If you haven't yet, make sure to join the premium version of our course by clicking the big red button. It's just above my head. And once you have created an account, click on your My Student account, and then click on the Student Partner Speaking. By the way, everybody, the next class that's coming up in about 40 minutes, or a little bit more, about an hour, you will go to the website and use this blue button that's kind of behind my head there. It's the Join Live Class button that's there. Okay. And we also have the Test Glider, everybody. A couple of people have bought it now and they're really liking it. So Test Glider right behind me there as well. But anyway, for now, let's go to the Student Partner Speaking. And in this function, you will see your classmates. We've got Ivan, Manikanta, Prasanta, Fuang, Juan, Rihan in here. And then you can volunteer, find me in here. You will see me in here as master, and then when you find me, then you can just click the blue envelope that's next to my handle and say, I want to volunteer, I want to try. We've got our premium student Ivan here with us. Ivan, it's nice to have you here. I see Fuang, Juan Pablo in here as well, which is great. Hang in there, Fuang and Juan. Okay, Ivan says hello. Hi, Ivan. You want to try this? Hi, Ivan. Are you ready? Awesome. Hi, Ivan. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for asking. What about you?
I'm also doing great. I don't think people can hear me through YouTube. Let me just check. Yeah, I don't know. Here, just give me a second, Ivan. I'm just gonna make sure that everybody can hear what's going on here. Okay. Can you try speaking now, Evan? Okay. Oh, yeah, okay, so, interesting. Maya says we can hear. Okay, then let me just switch that back to what it was before. All right, it's just maybe OBS is not showing me that everybody can hear me. Okay, Maya says they can hear you, so that's great. Okay, Ivan, have you been following the class?
Yes.
Yep, you have? Okay, good. So you know the topic?
Yes. About the idea to improve something in future.
Okay.
Basically.
Basically, yes. All right. Careful with that, Ivan. So in the actual IELTS, it's not a basically. You want to be an exactly in the IELTS, okay? So an innovation or an idea for the future that can improve humanity, right? So it's either an innovation or an idea. So make sure you have that very, very clearly. Okay, Ivan, I'm guessing you have given this a little bit of thought, correct?
Yes.
All right, then I will start you off and you can give me your response and we'll talk about it a little bit after. Here we go. So now we will continue with part 2. For part 2, I will show you some questions. You will have 1 minute to think about your answers and 1 to 2 minutes to speak. Talk about an idea or an innovation for the future that is not possible today and can greatly help humanity. Your 1 minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking.
So I'm going to talk about the idea of developing a global curricular framework and use it to create an open university with different programs in different fields for higher education. So every individual who is ready to work hard would be able to attend the classes and build its own program of study to become a specialist in some specific area. I I get this idea from my work. I'm actually a curriculum designer, and as I already know from my work, that this kind of concept is pretty much possible, and it will be very beneficial for humanity in the future. Just imagine that higher quality education will be available to everyone all around the world. There are hundreds of thousands of talented people who are not able, for different kind of reasons, to get proper higher education. So this idea, when implemented, will bring it to the world. And it's not possible now for several reasons. One of them is this work is very expensive. Some part of this work was already done in education field, but what I mean is complete framework to actually create ready-to-use programs of education in different fields, and it's not now just not possible yet, because it requires a lot of work which must be done by high qualified specialists in different fields, and it requires a lot of resources to spend to just bring all those people, thousands of specialists all around the world together to build such kind of tool. And probably in future, some corporation or somebody with money who is ready to invest in this probably will do this work.
Okay,
probably will get this done.
2 minutes is up. I will stop you there, and we will now continue to part 3. For this part, I will ask you a question or two related to your response and some questions connected to this topic. Please put the note paper to the side, turn it over, the pencil as well. What kind of hardware do you think this technology might require?
It's not about hardware, it's about, I would say, managerial aspects. Basically, it's paperwork at the first stages.
What kind of hardware do you think may be required to access this curriculum or this university, global university, once it is available?
Speaking about hardware, it should be mainframe servers with high maintainability and sustainability, and with disaster recovery capability to be available at any time in cases of some kind of different kind of disaster or something like that.
And how do you think this will impact the development of science and knowledge to have this type of university?
I believe it will bring a direct impact on. Sorry, Mayor, can you repeat the question, please?
Yes. So how do you believe this kind of advancement will impact the development of science and technology?
It will impact science and technology by bringing a lot of high qualified specialists from all around the world. As I mentioned before, hundreds of thousands possible students cannot access higher quality higher education. But with this idea, higher education will be available for everyone all around the world, and some talented people will grow to be such kind of specialists with high qualification in some specific fields.
All right, Ivan, I'm going to stop there and just give you a bit of feedback. So that was really good, right? Challenging topic, because when we're speaking about science, invention, innovation, we definitely get into more difficult vocabulary, concepts, grammar as well, future, past. We get into a lot of conditional speech. It would, it could, right? So it's challenging, but it's fun. It's an exciting kind of topic to talk about, and certainly it's I don't know if I want to say common, but it's mainstream because technology development, advancement, we live in the age of information. So certainly it's not a rare kind of discussion to have these days. So I think you did a really good job, and I can tell that you've given this a lot of thought before. Your band score would be about a 6.5 for this, so it's between fluent and good. You were fluent for the most part, and I do respect that these are challenging ideas. I think here, speaking a little bit smoother, with a little bit better pacing. You do seem to get a little bit stuck here and there to try to express what you're wanting to say. Would help you to increase your band score, a little bit more natural language in some parts. Some of the word forms were a little bit off. Absolutely listen back and think about how you could improve this. When you're thinking about this kind of a concept, right? So like a global curriculum, or did you call it a global curricular framework? Okay, framework, yeah. Yeah, so I kind of get it. Is there any software or any company out there that's kind of doing this that you could use as an example?
Yes, but it's not software, it's before software, it's paperwork. For example, ACM, Information Technology Curricula.
So it's more conceptual, right? Now,
yeah, and after that, on the stage of content creation, actual studying programs will be developed based on this framework.
Yeah, and I'm following you. So it's definitely a more challenging choice for answers in this kind of a situation, but I do like how you're bringing your work into it. So I know that this is your field of study, this is what you do, and so absolutely explore discussing this topic in English and being able to do it well, right? So that your audience receives it well, you're able to convince your audience. So keep practicing this, okay? So keep thinking about how you can present this information in better and better ways, because it sounds to me like this could very well be a topic for a master's thesis or a doctorate dissertation in the future, right? So
it's an idea, actually.
I had that feeling, right? So make sure to keep working on it, make sure to keep refining it, so that your audience can easily and clearly understand this. Of course, as a person who also deals with curricula and designing curricula, I understand this quite well. For sure, you want to be able to break it down in a very systematic kind of way. I would recommend even putting together like a PowerPoint presentation, and just seeing how well you can convey these ideas to an audience that's not familiar with the teaching as much, or this concept. Okay?
Okay.
All right, but thank you so much for sharing. And I definitely think that it's a really clever answer for this question. So I appreciate you sharing, and I hope you have an awesome rest of your weekend, Ivan.
You too. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Bye, Ivan.
Bye.
Let's give Ivan a thumbs up. That was a very challenging topic. Yeah, a global curriculum framework. Tricky. All right. Prasanta, not only a premium member on the website, but also a member of the YouTube channel. Gotta give Prasanta a chance. Prasanta, and loves science fiction. So I'm sure we'll all have a good time listening to Prasanta. Let's try to reach out. Prasanta, are you ready? And an avid fan of Doraemon, a very, very much science fiction character, a cat with no ears from the future with a magical pouch. Prasanta, if you're there, let me know. All right. Hi, Prasanta.
Hello, sir. How are you, sir?
I am doing fantastic. How are you doing?
Yeah, I got a little cold because in India now it's a bit colder.
Ooh, okay. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. I hope you get better. One innovation for the future would be nanobots that can identify and kill viruses and make us feel better right away. Right?
Yeah, there is also movie for this topic. It's called Bloodshot, like something like that.
Right? So, yeah, you just inject yourself, little robots go to work, kill everything that's causing us harm, and then we feel great.
Yeah,
All right. Well, until we have that technology, Prasanta, just make sure to drink lots of fluids, get lots of vitamin C in your system. Okay. Let the body do
sure,
the
sure.
work.
Thank you.
All right.
So,
Okay, Prasanta, I will start you on this question and then you give me the response, okay?
okay, let's give it a try. I'll try my best.
That's all I ask. Let's do it. Talk about an idea or an innovation for the future that is not possible today and can greatly help humanity. Your 1 minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking.
Okay. Well, for me, I believe the invention of an transportation device or transportation or teleportation portal will be very beneficial for future. Uh, first I heard about this um, in my 12 in my 12 year when I was 12-year old, and first time I hear about it in Doraemon. That was the enemy, but that time I was not that much of curious about it. But when I grew up and again I saw it, another enemy that's called Transformer. It's the enemy of robots, and that time it made me little bit curious, and I uh, did some research, and I did came to know that yeah, there is some kind of theory that people or our science really want to um, get that milestone by inventing a device uh, which called teleportation device or teleportation portal. Actually, teleportation uh, portal is a machine which creates a bridge or something, a gate through between two places, and it's help us to ship places in within just a second. In future, if we got this teleportation teleportation portal or teleportation device invented, it will be very beneficial not only for humankind only, but also for the whole global earth also, because we know that now a time there's a very there are more disaster happen in seas and also in airways through plane when people traveling through the sea, water or by plane. So there are many casualties happen. If we have that teleportation portal, we would not have to burn that much of fuel to get one place to another places. And there all no casualties could be happen, no accident in water would not be happen. And there was
Okay,
another
your
thing.
2 minutes is up. I will stop you there. And we will now go on to part three. For this, I will ask you some questions related to your response and some questions connected to this topic. Um, why do you think this is not possible yet to make these teleportation portals?
To make this teleportation portal in real life, to build it, there is very actually this is a topic of physics that is very very very, how to say, actually it's a molecular physics, so we don't have that all much of stuff who is very actually intelligent and very know that much of have that much of knowledge. have that much of comment about the comment over quantum physics, molecular physics. So
All right.
now,
Prasanta, I'm going to stop there and give you some feedback. Okay, so Prasanta, your speaking score would be about a band 5.5 to 6. So I think you are more or less fluent. However, you do make numerous grammatical mistakes, and at times you have to rephrase yourself to make sense. So what you do, and this is a part of your speaking right now in English, is you'll say a sentence, and then after you say the sentence, Prasanta, you realize it has a lot of mistakes. So then you kind of say it again, but in a different way with less mistakes. And just what you said right now, you said we do not have that much stuff, and you realize like that doesn't really make any sense. So you said we don't have that much knowledge in physics. So you want to be a little bit more patient, of course, a lot of speaking practice, so that you can say it the correct way or the accurate way the first time and not the second time that you're saying it. Do
yeah,
you understand what I mean, Prasanta, by that?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Right?
yeah,
So
yeah,
because what happens is you say it one way first, it's a little bit unclear, there's grammar mistakes, it's a bit confusing, and I'm kind of scratching my head, and then you suddenly say it again, and then you make it clear, which is okay, but you don't want to do that often. Usually you want to
yeah,
say it
sure.
the good way the first time. You get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, I got it.
So lots and lots of practice so that you're saying it the better way. Like, for instance, when you said molecular physics, at first you didn't figure out the word, and then you figured it out, and then you're like, oh yeah, what I'm trying to say is molecular physics. So you keep kind of like looping back and correcting yourself, and it does make it hard to follow what you're saying. So you want to minimize these kinds of loop back to what I was saying in a better
Yeah,
way, right? So work on that,
yes.
really work on that when you're practicing your speaking, and I'm sure your score will go up, okay? All right.
Okay, sure, sure.
I really liked your concept of the portal or the gate. You could have got into a bit more detail there. So, like, instead of having airports, we could have teleportation stations where we have these portals, and like there's a portal in New York and there's a portal in New Delhi, and then a person steps into the portal in New York and they come out the other side in New Delhi. So you can kind of simplify the concept to make the language a little bit easier. And really,
Okay.
I think I should have said this to Ivan as well. So really make the communication visual, so the listener, especially with a challenging topic like this, can see what we're talking about when it's kind of conceptual. Okay, so just repeat this
Yeah.
sentence after me. So teleportation portals could be built in major cities around the world, so a person can step into a portal in New York and step out of a portal in New Delhi. Try to repeat that.
Teleportation portal can be built in Delhi, and when a person, and another is to New York. When a person step in the portal in from New Delhi, he would come up in New York instant.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. So creating that visual content, right? Especially when we're talking about a lot of theoretical concepts, it's a really good idea to translate or interpret the information from metaphysical or conceptual into physical and visual concepts. And that allows us to kind of simplify our language, become more fluent, and also become a lot more coherent. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Okay.
There is a
So,
question I will
mhm.
ask.
Yeah, go for it,
There is a
Prasanta.
I always wait for someone in this platform that I could take ask for help, that I can practice my speaking part.
Hmm.
But most of the time, there's not more person available. So, is there any way that I could improve my fluency, or I can overcome my nervousness by my own?
Yeah. So, Prasanta, I think the best answer I should give you here is find somebody. Okay. So keep the platform open and then keep checking the page. So when you're on this page, I'm going to show you here visually. So when you're on this page, obviously in these live classes there are lots of people here, and listen up people, stay in this page. So the way that you can do this is keep this window open in your browser, and you should get a notification when somebody else is pinging you. And every now and then, so if you're working on your computer, you had this page open for a half an hour, look on the page and hit the refresh button. It's maybe that the page is timed out or your computer's timed out, internet's timed out. So just hit the refresh button and somebody might join. Also, Prasanta, ask for people. Like here, I can hear that you're looking for a speaking partner. You want to practice regularly. So, you know, when this live class is going and we're finished talking to each other, send Ivan a message or send Rihan a message and say, hey, I'm Prasanta. As you heard, I'm looking for a speaking partner. Do you have any time in the week, just 10 minutes or 15 minutes where we can meet regularly and ask each other some questions, right? And I'm sure some people will be like, yeah, I would love to study some IELTS questions with you, okay? All right.
Okay, thank
So
you.
just be confident, because I guarantee you somebody will say, yes, Prasanta, I will happily practice with you for 10, 20 minutes each week, okay? All right.
Thank you.
Good question, Prasanta. And thank you for volunteering, and keep watching science fiction because it's fun.
Thank you for giving me a chance. Thank you.
All right,
I
you're
appreciate
welcome.
that. Thank you.
And get better. Bye, Prasanta.
Bye bye, Adrian.
All right, let's give Prasanta a thumbs up. And as you heard, Prasanta's looking for speaking partners and wants to practice. So, because I think Prasanta knows that the way to improve that part of his speaking, where he's coming up with the better sentences, words, ideas right away, is through practice, right? Okay, Fuang, are you there? You've been very patient. Thank you for the thumbs up, everybody. That's great. Okay. All right. So, Fung, there you are. Hi, Fung. I'm not hearing you right now. Not sure what's going on. It seemed to work quite well there with Ivan and Prasanta. So let me just check with somebody else, Prasanta, if it's on my end or your end, and then we'll circle back. And I know our member Juan has been quite patient as well. So let's see if Juan is there. Juan, are you there? I have a feeling Juan is a science fiction fan also. And then we'll see and check the system. Okay. Lots of members in here right now. That's great to
Hello,
see.
can you hear me?
Yeah, hi Juan, how are you?
I'm doing well.
That is great. Juan, are you I have this feeling you're a science fiction fan. Is my intuition correct or not?
Yeah,
You are? Okay.
yeah, but I haven't read any books. I just watch. I just like some of the shows, like Star Wars.
Yeah, absolutely right. Because science fiction is just so fun to watch. I agree with you on that. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Especially
Yeah.
with modern day movie magic and CGI. It's just great. All right. Well, Juan, I'm interested to hear what you have to say for this cue card. Are you ready?
I think I am.
Okay. All right. Believe in yourself. Okay, here we go. So talk about an idea or an innovation for the future that is not possible today and can greatly help humanity. Your 1 minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking.
Well, an innovation that could be a game changer for humanity. I think it's gonna be space traveling, but faster than the speed of light. I familiarized myself with this idea by watching sci-fi movies like the original Star Wars, the three originals, and also the sequels, and also shows related to these movies like Ahsoka and The Mandalorian. On these shows, the characters travel faster than the speed of light in small spaceships, but also in really big spaceships. Before doing it, they make like a calculation with a computer, with the map of the galaxy to be sure that they don't crash into anything. and they I don't remember well. I think they like press a button or they move a handle or something, and they do it like they travel really fast. Um, this could be really good for humanity, because we can search for alternative planets similar to Earth. For example, there is this planet that scientists say that is really similar to ours. Even the solar system is similar to this one. That is 400 light years from Earth, and is the closest one to Earth that has these conditions. Um, Maybe we can, using this technology, we can get there maybe in a few weeks. This could be great for humanity because we can maybe move there, colonize, and even if we can't move there, we can get important resources like minerals or fuel.
Okay.
Um,
Your time is up. I'm going to stop you there. And now we will go on to part 3. All right, Juan, that was really good. That was really good. So traveling at the speed of light, or faster than the speed of light, and from
Yeah.
movies like Star Wars, they do that in Star Trek too. In Star Trek, they call it warp speed. In Star Wars, what do they call it? I know that they measure it in parsecs, I believe.
Yeah, parsecs. Oh, Jesus.
There is
I
there is a
didn't-
word that they use, isn't it? It's bothering me as well. I'm like, oh, what's that word that they use? They go into I don't know if they call it warp. I don't think they call it warp in Star Wars. They call it something else. But anyway, after the class, Michelle will be like, oh yeah, that's the word that they use for that measurement or that speed.
Hyperspace.
Hyperspace. That's the word. Hyperspace. There you go. Now we can all sleep better, Juan. All right. Okay. So first of all, your band score, yeah, great. I would say for sure a band 8, maybe even higher.
Thanks.
So that would definitely be considered very good English. You spoke about that very naturally, confidently. So everybody, listen up here. So this is a band 8. It's considered very good English because clearly Juan has the ability, according to the IELTS examiner and according to English proficiency, Juan has the ability to clearly discuss unique topics such as this science fiction topic with detail, with clarity, using not only good vocabulary but also interesting language. Okay, so for instance, Juan here said an innovation that could be a game changer. A very nice natural expression. A game changer means making a big difference in society or for humanity. Is traveling faster than the speed of light, watching Star Wars movies. Okay, don't get too lost in the descriptions. Make sure you answer all the questions on the cue card, Juan. So you said we could search for other planets similar to Earth, and that one's 400 light years away. We could be there in a few weeks, even if we don't colonize. I love the use of vocabulary there, colonizing. Then we could get some resources from there. Everybody, here's an important tip for you when you're in the IELTS for part 2, but also for the other parts of the speaking. And this is a good tip for the next lesson that's coming up, part 3. Don't expect the examiner to think about the logical idea or the idea that is given that we should say. Let me be a little bit clear here, Juan. Why is it important for humanity at this point to find resources on other planets or to be able to move to other planets?
Global warming could be an issue here soon. Well, it is already, and also overpopulation.
Yeah, so this technology would definitely help to solve some very relevant and existential threats. Do you know what existential threat means?
Yeah, like danger.
But what does it mean, existential threat?
Well, a danger that can kill us, right?
Exactly. So danger for our actual existence as a species on
Mm-hmm.
the planet, right? So this would definitely help to solve some very relevant and existential threats like global warming, overpopulation, and lack of resources like fresh water, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that's, I think, a very important point to kind of spin into this discussion of traveling the speed of light. And I think humans are actually, we know it's very tricky technology, but we're really pushing for it because we are aware of this situation. So just repeat the sentence after me, Juan, and this is again for everybody. So this technology would definitely help to solve some very relevant and existential threats like global warming, overpopulation, and lack of resources like fresh water.
This technology would definitely help to solve some very relevant and existential threats like global warming, overpopulation, and lack of resources like fresh water.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the way we're going. So, so great speech. Nice answer, Juan. Really,
Thank-
it's kind of like, I'm sure the examiner knows this, but I need to say it to them clearly. So keep that in mind, right, when you're thinking about the communication. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have to assume that the examiner knows everything I'm talking about. Maybe some things I think are obvious. I
Yeah.
can explain them, right?
Exactly. So, yeah. So, yes. So, what I'm saying here, Juan, thank you. So, what I'm saying here is explain the obvious. Okay. So, and it's good to do that in the IELTS. So, it's good to explain the obvious because it confirms your language and it confirms your coherence. So, here the examiner isn't like, oh, why are you telling me that? Isn't that obvious? No, they're like, oh, it's great that you're telling me that. I'm glad that you stated the obvious, which confirms my thinking, coherence, and shows that you know how to say this in English. So it's different than in some other situations, right? So explaining the obvious is exactly what you want to do. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, Juan. Awesome. Enjoy Star Wars. Yeah, I need to catch up on that. I've lost track
It's
of
really
the new
good.
ones. Yeah, I haven't seen the
Have
new
you-
ones. I don't have the Disney Plus on my TV, but that's the only reason I would get Disney Plus is for the Star Wars content. So, yeah.
There are some difference in opinions, even among fans, because some fans are. I mean, some people are really fan of the original trilogy, and some others don't like the rest. But I don't know. I like the originals and also the prequels,
Yeah,
but not
I
the last
like
one.
them. I honestly like them all. I'm a big fan of sci-fi. I like some of them more than others, even of the originals, and some of the new. I think the Mandalorian was a great series. I think that was really well done. So it really depends. But anyway, we'll talk Star Wars another time, Juan. We'll get back to it. Have an awesome rest of your day. Okay.
You too, Adrian, and thank
Okay.
you.
Bye, Juan.
Bye.
All right. Yeah, Star Wars, definitely a great place to get some ideas of some future innovations. Students, I'm kind of out of time, but I'm going to be back here on the website very, very soon. So Carla, Tatiana, Mariam, Nikitin, Kevin, I'm doing a live class on the website in 30 minutes, and we're following with these part 3 questions about future innovations, future technology. So please don't go too far. That button is right there. The live class button. Nothing will happen if you push it right now, but I'll start the live class up in about 25-30 minutes so people can start joining in. And then you'll see that button magically activate, and you'll see me through the website just like you're seeing me in YouTube, and we'll have the same kind of speaking ability there as well. Okay, so not on YouTube, everybody, but on the website, everybody's able to join, and you can do it for free. You don't have to pay. Okay, it's available to everybody. So when you're on the homepage, if you don't have a premium account, okay, If you don't have a premium account, then just click the green button there to create a demo account, and you can use the live class function through that as well. But if you're like, hey, no, this is great, I'm just going to buy the premium course, then click the big red button that's there, and you can join, and it doesn't cost a lot, and you can get all the materials as well. Okay, thank you to my volunteers. Fuang, hopefully in the next class you'll be able to join there through the live class function. Kevin, I would totally love to hear your idea about the future innovations also there. Thank you, everybody, for being with me in this class. And have a good little break. Stretch your legs. Come back in 25-30 minutes onto the website. The website that we're using is aehelp.com. I'll maybe just I'll put that link in after, okay? And I'll look forward to seeing you there. Bye, everybody. See you soon.